Hello again, everyone. So, like I said previously, we talked about reverse engineering and then we went off topic to cybersecurity. So, we're gonna talk about malware today, which is our blown up concept. So, Oren told us about your professor, or one of the professors in Ben Gurion University, and he wrote an article. I read a few of them actually after we talked about it. And one of them was super special. I remember that the article said that there were two computers offline in a room, not connected to each other and not to the internet. And one of them had, of course, a screen, a display. And of course, each one of them, it has an LED which says if it's on or off.
Yeah.
So one of them had a display and the other one had a sensor which read the LED. Now the professor put a malware software inside one of the computers, the one with the display, and he made the LED blink like binary. So when it was on, it sent 1. When it was off, it sent 0. And the sensor on the other computer could sense it, read it, and decrypt the data. So that way it transferred the data, and that is what's so-called malware, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one type of malware, right? Malware is a very general term.
Of course.
Yeah, it sounds like that, Professor. I mean, he always finds really creative ways of leaking information. It's really crazy.
Yeah, he is a crazy person, right?
Yeah.
Like, I saw a few more, but generally he takes different components inside the computer and he make them transfer data in a different way.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us what exactly is a malware?
Yeah, sure. So actually, it's a bit weird. This is part 2, and we talk about malware now. It's actually a more basic term than reverse engineering from the
Right.
first part. Malware is a combination of words of malicious software, right? It's a software that is designed to cause damage to you or your computer. I mean, it can, really crash your computer. It can spy on you. It can lock your computer. It can do lots of crazy stuff, and you don't want a malware running on your computer because it's malicious. It's doing bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have do you have some examples? Like, let's first of all talk about different types of viruses.
Yeah, sure. So, like the most common, virus types that people tend to know is Trojan horse. Trojan horse is a software that is disguised as a legitimate software, like a media player or something like that. And it actually, when you run it, it could actually, have an implementation of a media player. You could actually play songs on it, but on the background it does other stuff that you don't want it to do, and without telling you.
Yeah,
right?
And you don't even know this.
Yeah. So it's called Trojan horse, like from the story of Troy, that they build like a giant wooden horse and put it in.
Who doesn't know?
Yeah. So what's the moral? Don't accept giant wooden horses as presents.
I remember this.
Yeah. So this is Trojan horse. Another really common virus is a worm, right? A worm is defined as a computer program that damages your computer. It's a virus that does some sort of damage, but the really special thing about a worm that it replicates itself automatically and spread itself through the network of computers.
Damn.
Yeah. So it doesn't really need, anyone clicking on it on another computer. It just needs that first person that starts it, and then it just spreads all over. Actually, it's funny. The first worm that was developed was called Morris worm. It was developed in 1988. The internet was very young back then. The internet was basically like a platform for sharing academic papers for for scholars, and it had like, I don't know, 60,000 computers, which is nothing. Like, I don't know how many computers are on the internet now, but I'm pretty sure it's larger than 60,000. 60,000 is nothing.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So the guy was a student in Cornell University, and he wanted to show that he could exploit the vulnerabilities that he found in some computers. And he also wanted to know if it's possible for a computer virus to spread automatically by itself. The thing is, he did some errors in his coding. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but eventually what happened, it got out of control, and he really made 6,000 computers useless, right? Which was 10% of the internet at the time.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, so he was I think the first case of, I don't know, that he was sued over computer abuse or something like that, the first case in the USA. So yeah, that's the story of the developer of the worm. Eventually he became a professor in MIT. You know, he's a really special guy if you want to read about it. Yeah. So this is like the most common computer virus that people know, but actually there are a lot more. Like there's a software, there's a malware that actually is called ransomware, right? From the word ransom, which means when you start it, what it does, it encrypts all of your computer, like all of the data on your computer with a secret key, and then like a screen is shown to you and says like, pay, I don't know, $5,000 to this account in Bitcoin, so you know it's anonymous, and we will give you the key and decrypt your computer. So basically, they just steal your computer from you by encrypting everything. Yeah. And yeah, it's a very dangerous malware. It's really not
all
fun.
sound crazy.
Yeah. And I know that there are malwares like spyware, which are deliberately working in the background and try to steal information from you. Like whenever you type a password in websites, they log it and then send it to the attacker without you knowing. I know it copies images and files from your computer and send it without you knowing. This is like the spyware. So there are lots of different computer viruses. Like hackers are so creative with how they can damage your computer. It's amazing.
It's a huge field.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds awesome. You know, it reminds me. I'm not sure if it's malware or it's more like hacking, but I remember when I was in middle school, we had a computer class. So of course it's a class full of computers, and each student got his own computer. Now, basically, I read about malwares, and I found out that it started in the middle of, like between the 70s and the 80s, and it started as a joke. Like just popping up messages in computers and writing different messages, funny messages. So that's exactly what we did, or our student did in this class. So since in the computer class all of the computers were connected to the same network, so you could open the command line and send some message which will pop up in all of the computers, and students tried to make fun of it. Now, of course, we also played Doom and GTA and stuff, but that's basically what we did. And something else, not me, other students did. And beside that, I remember that we had, it's called phishing, right? Phishing is more hacking than malware, but am I right?
Yeah, it's like, it's not really a malware. It's like phishing is a way of infecting a computer with malware.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from what I remember, students made a shortcut on the desktop for let's say Facebook.
Right.
And other students who came to the same computer and opened the Facebook from the shortcut icon, they didn't know that they got entered to a website called Facebook, for example.
Yeah.
Like something pretty similar, and they entered their information to log in, and it's saved inside a text file, which eventually sent to the student who made this phishing attack. So that's a pretty similar example to phishing malware, right? Like
yeah, so the first example is basically malware. The fact that you could pop up a message in another student computer and, you just popped up a message, right? Other malware could do basically anything, right? So if you're connected and there are no protections in this computer that allows you to pop up that message, you could,
you can do everything.
Copy files from his computer to your computer and steal data from him. I don't know. You can do anything basically. The second thing you said, it's a way of infecting computer with malware. Phishing is like what you said. You make the user go to a malicious site, which is very similar to the original site, but not exactly. And it's a malicious site. You wrote it. You could do it with it whatever you want. So he types his password. It's written to a text file and sent to you. It's really common. Other types of other ways to infect the computer is like other type of phishing is like sending an email with a file that says, I don't know, read this PDF to, I don't know, do something, something really legitimate, right? That people will just click on it, and the moment they click on it, they download the malware to them. You can infect computers, I don't know, with just put an infected USB that just installs a malware. It's sometimes as easy as that. And there are many ways of infecting computer with malware.
Of course. Yeah, right. Okay, so we talked about malware, what it is, and you gave us a few examples, different types of viruses. Do you have any other examples for our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, there are like, I don't know, some viewers might relate this. When you go to, I don't know, shady websites, sometimes they pop up like websites that tell you have a virus on your computer. Please download this software to remove it, right? So most of the time it's just harmless pop-up. You just, I don't know, click the X button and that's it. But sometimes they actually, if you click on it, it downloads really a malware to your computer. Now this malware is probably really hard for antiviruses to remove. So they tell you like, okay, you have this malware in your computer. If you want to remove it, you have to pay us so you can download a software that removes it. Right? So they basically, what they did, they told you, you have a virus on your computer, you have to download this software to remove it. And you downloaded it, and you actually downloaded the malicious software.
Yes.
Right? So this is called a scareware. This is like a software that was intended to scare the user into downloading malicious software. There are the newest types of malware that exist today are fileless malware, like malware that doesn't use files, which is actually insane because a malware is basically a software. Software is a piece of code that needs to run, and hackers found ways to run malware without files. They use a legitimate software, they crack them and make legitimate software run malicious code on your computer.
Whoa.
This is the newest type of malware. It's extremely hard to remove or notice. It's insane. This is like the newest and hottest topic in this world. If someone is interested, then it's a very interesting read.
Don't do it, just read about it.
Yeah, just read about it, yeah. And
don't try at home.
yeah, so this is really cool.
Nice. Okay, so we know what a malware is, but can you tell us how can we protect ourselves from it? Like cybersecurity and your connection to it, how do we do it?
Yeah, so basically for a normal user that doesn't have much of technical knowledge, all you have to do is really update your software and your operating system. Like whenever Windows tells you to update its operating system, that do it. Okay,
Yeah.
don't postpone it, because these updates are important. It's not like sometimes Windows forces you to update, and people are always annoyed because why does it update by itself? I mean, I own this computer. Why does it do something on its own? But it's actually really important. It's mostly security updates that they found like a really serious bug that if someone found it, it can control your computer. So they force you to update. But I advise people just update whenever there's an update, right? So you could always be like in the forefront of defense, and always have your antivirus running so it can remove any malicious software. Always have your firewall running. Firewall is basically a software that doesn't allow connections from computers from the internet or computers from your local area network to connect to your computer.
Yeah.
So it's like a wall that just filters out what can go in your computer and what goes out. So it's very important that it's on. It's also on. And the last thing is use strong passwords. I know this is like really annoying for a lot of people that they try to sign up for some website and it tells them like, no, your password is not that strong.
Yeah.
But it's really important because there are a lot of malware that crack passwords with dictionary attacks,
right?
Which are basically they have huge dictionaries of weak passwords that people tend to use, and they just try them all. Like a computer can try 1 million passwords in minutes, seconds even, and if you don't have a strong password, it'll probably crack your account and you'll be sorry. So just make it, like 15 letters long with capital letters, some special letters and stuff like that, and you'll be safe. I mean, if you make your password, then you're just as vulnerable as not using a password at all.
Yeah, you're right. And one last thing, and very important, is don't be stupid and don't click any link that people send you. Look before it looks unsuspicious.
Yeah, something really, really important that is not really well known to most people. If you surf to some website, right, and you have this HTTPS semicolon / and then the www stuff.
All the URL.
So if the link that someone sends you is HTTP and without the S, it's suspicious, right? Everybody uses the HTTPS because it's secure, and if someone is making you go to HTTP site, then it's probably something is fishy there. I mean, it's not really a good site. It may be a malicious site, not necessarily, but if someone sends you a link and tells you, click this link to win $1 million and it's HTTP, it probably downloads the malicious software to your computer. Don't do it. I mean, it's really, really important.
Sometimes it's very unfortunate because there are even old people that use smartphone or computer and they're not really sure what they're doing, but sometimes they can press on URLs like this and harm themselves. So I'm pretty sure old people won't listen to our conversation right now, to our podcast, but
you young people, go to the old people and tell them what you just heard here.
You surely should.
Yeah.